Alright, today we are going to make a homemade ant bait. I've just moved into this new trailer, which is why it's kind of sort of a huge mess. But basically, long story short, I have fire ants all over this house. You cannot sit on the couch, which you see in front of you right over there, um, without being stung a couple times at night. I've got ants in my trash. I've got ants on the floor, ants on my desk. I get stung about twice a day at this point. So it's about time to go to war on the ants. So my goal was to not use any real poisons on them and to hopefully eradicate the nests as well from which they're coming from the outside, because this is kind of a crappy trailer. It's not really very good condition. There's holes to the outside. The floors are rotting, things like that. So what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to use here, is orthoboric acid. It's not the best, but it's a fairly low toxicity. Like you'll hear this called roach proof or borax. There's variations of it with slightly different chemicals, all related to borax, which is actually a mineral, which has the toxicity of, let's say, something to the effect of salt or water. Not very toxic, but it is toxic to some degree, and I have read things also that suggest that there might be a higher level of toxicity than that. So I guess it depends on where you're getting your information. It also depends on exactly which variation of the mineral that you're using. In this case, this orthoboric acid would actually be more toxic than, say, the boric acid, at least from my research prior to doing this video. So what I've done here is I wanted to make kind of a combat style house, kind of like the roach motels that you see, but obviously I'm not going to go through that much detail, so I'm just going to use this as a platform to put the bait on so that I can set this around and I don't have to worry about it getting dirty or anything like that. I can move it around based on where the ants are, and I can make several of them. I've got two right here. I cut these off of a PS3 box, which I found laying around in the trash, out of the like 9 bags of trash, that we pulled out of here. So I'm going to use this to make all of the actual uh, pieces like this so that we can spread them around the house and hopefully get more of them. And what's going to happen is whenever the ants eat this bait, they will then take the food back to their nest, and the ants will consume it, hopefully, in theory, killing off the colony. So we'll see how this works at this point. Now, what I've got here is sugar and peanut butter. In this case, Peter Pan, doesn't really matter what you get. From my understanding at this point, there are two different kinds of preferences for the ants. Some prefer sugar and some prefer protein. I'm assuming that these are protein loving ants, since if I drop a piece of dog food on the ground, they will literally try to carry that off immediately. Like, it'll be covered within an hour, even if it's just in my kitchen floor. And so they get into my dog's food if I'm not careful. So I'm assuming that these are protein loving ants at this point. So that's why I've got the peanut butter. And if you've got ants that prefer sugar, what I've read is perhaps using a mint jelly or any kind of jelly that you've got laying around in order to attract them. In this case, we're only going to be using the peanut butter and sugar because, unfortunately, I just moved here. I don't have jelly. I don't really eat that much jelly anyway, so it hasn't really been on my grocery list at this point. I'm going to use this simple plastic cup for mixing, and of course the scissors were for cutting it out. And since I just moved here, all I've got is this plastic fork, so we're going to have to improvise. So I'm going to go for something to the effect of about 2 tablespoons of sugar. So hopefully I don't dump this everywhere, since I'm trying to do this one-handed, So we'll see what kind of skills I've actually got here for doing it. Ooh, and I'm sure I overshot that, but whatever. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to dump a little bit of this out. If you'll excuse me for just a moment. Alright, and there we go. Now we've got roughly 2 tablespoons of sugar in there. And now we put peanut butter in. Take a nice healthy scoop of it and drop that into the cup. And don't forget to seal your peanut butter. You don't want the ants getting that. Alright, and don't really... Alright, so hopefully I've shaken this up enough. This was actually already here. I'm going to go for about half a tablespoon of borax in here. I may actually have to open this up. There we go. And you know, if you get a little extra, I mean, it's not going to hurt the situation to put a little extra in, because I mean, worst case scenario, you'll just kill them a little better, kill them good. So let's see here, go ahead and shake this up a little. This is actually clumped because it was already here with the cap off. You didn't get to see it, but I actually spent a good amount of time cleaning this bottle because it was utterly freaking disgusting. And quite frankly, I didn't want to have to touch that constantly in this video. So let's try a little more. Put some more in there. Alright, that should be plenty. Pretty sure I overdid it, but whatever. Alright, and I... going to try to stir this in a way that you can see. And try and get full coverage in there. If you've worked in any sort of restaurant making burgers or something like that, you may be familiar with the term. We basically just want to make sure that it's mixed in really well. Poison, sugar, all that good stuff. Get it pretty good and mixed. Looks like the edges are going to be a little hard, but we'll just get around the edges. And as you can see, it's starting to turn into a nice creamy paste. Don't accidentally eat this, so obviously. But you know, things come with warnings because people try them. So we might as well go ahead and put the disclaimer on this. You would not want to eat this yourself, obviously. So now that we've got this mixed up, as you can see it right there, we will now rotate this around so you don't have to deal with my shadow work here from all the lights. Alright, now this needs to stay moist or else the ants will no longer use it. So I'm only going to put a bit on here and see how that works out. And that's really all there is to it. At this point, we will take this bait and we will start setting it around in different places where we see the ant trails, different places that they're infesting, and try to attract them to our bait. You'll want to replace this whenever it dries out so that the ants continue to get the bait and take it back to their colony. Make as many of these you want, spray them around the house. Take care not to put them where your pets will potentially eat them. Obviously, it's peanut butter and sugar. You don't want your dog, I don't want my dog accidentally eating it. Hopefully you don't want your dog accidentally eating it. Your cat might get to it. Especially don't want your kids getting to it, things like that. I mean, this is a toxic substance. Even if it is mildly toxic, you probably would not want to ingest this. Really, that's about all there is to it. I hope you found this informative. Hit me up with comments if you have any questions. Alright, I've got for my next video in this disgusting sink that the ants are going to. They have a, I don't think you can really tell here. There's, you kind of see them coming up the sides here. They're coming down into this mess and getting it, which I'm still in the process of cleaning. Now I've set this into their trail, And I literally watched one come up and take a look at it. You can see they're already checking it out, so it looks to be a success. They're going to go around, tell their little buddies about it, and hopefully here in a little while we will be able to see all of these ants coming to get at the poison. And if this works, obviously there will be some more videos. They're kind of coming up back over here, and let's see the results here in a little while. Alright, and I'm checking in. It's been about 5 or 10 minutes or so. I'd say probably closer to 5. And if you want to take a look to see if this is successfully working, take a look now. You can actually see all these ants are just now starting to pour in. They've already told their buddies that it's here. You can see a significant increase in the ant activity. We'll be coming back here in a little while to view, see how this progresses. So let's keep on watching, because right now I've probably spent around 20, maybe 25 minutes working on this project, and in between. So if you saw the first video, this is literally 25 minutes later, and this should just be the beginning of the ant activity. In fact, it looks like it's picking up as we speak. Before too long, I really expect this to be pretty covered with ants. I've actually got another one over here to see if I can draw them over here. I'm not putting them around my bed or my desk, because hopefully this will draw some of the activity away from those areas, and get this colony out. As you can see, they are definitely getting the bait. Right here, like, there's no questioning it. I don't know if that's going to come out blurry for you, but you can literally see them around the edges just nibbling at it, and they're going to take this bait away back to the nest and hopefully exterminate a large portion of this population of ants. So alright, it has been approximately an hour since I set it up, and as you can tell, they are really getting to town on this. You can probably see that they've drug a few things up. That's actually, looks like they've drug up some parts of firecracker that and other stuff on here for some unbeknownst reason. They are dragging things up, I guess, to get to more peanut butter. I'm not sure, but they're dragging things up on here. It's actually kind of fascinating to watch. And starting to climb up on it. I don't think you can probably see that all that clearly, but that's what the red thing is there, and some of them are starting to climb up it and get on top. Looks to be maybe 30 to 50 ants here right now, within an hour, which you've seen the progress videos, so looks like it's working. It will definitely kill them, so I hope that this helps somebody in getting rid of their ant problems.